Zermatt. It is known to be one of the most beautiful towns in Switzerland, and also one of the most popular in terms of tourist destinations. You've most likely seen or heard about Zermatt in one way or another. It's situated at the foothills of one of the most recognized mountains in the world, the Matterhorn. Known for its iconic pyramid-shaped peak, the Matterhorn attracts thousands of tourists that come to Zermatt to take in its breathtaking views. We were lucky to spend one night in Zermatt on our Swiss trip, before we headed to the French town of Annecy, marking the official end of our trip. And personally, I don't think one day was enough to explore Zermatt. In this video, we'll show you our brief day trip of Zermatt and Annecy. We highly recommend checking out both these towns if you're exploring the French or Italian side of the Alps, even if it's just for one day. We stayed in a self-check-in hotel in Zermatt called Peaky Riders. Catered towards skiers and adventurers alike, the hotel prioritizes functionality and has the perfect balance between aesthetics and practicality. The room we booked is the smallest one they offer, but the floor space was maximized for functionality. Even though the room is kind of small, it's very nice. Everything is very functional. There's this closet type of thing. You know, you can hang your stuff, you can put stuff on top. There's a bunk bed. This is a nice view. And this river actually comes from the glacier that's at Matterhorn. Looking at this hotel is self-serve. So we came in yesterday, as we saw, and checked in on that tablet. And then you basically encode your card, entry key, and you can go upstairs. You have a self-serve coffee machine as well. If you do plan on staying at Peaky Riders, keep in mind that it is a 10 to 15 minute walk from the train station and in the north end of town. But there's a free shuttle that takes you from the hotel to the train station. So as we get closer to the town of Zermatt, which you can see right there, have all these different hotels and resorts just nestled here along the side roads. As usual, we grabbed breakfast from Coop before starting off our day. I got a salad sandwich. I got a cheese croissant along with this salted caramel latte drink for myself and a cafe sun as usual. After our meal, we headed on a walk towards the Matterhorn and the gondola station. And that right there is the famous Matterhorn, the mountain you see on the Toblerone chocolate bar. And we are about to take the cable lifts going from here up to somewhere over there, I think. Our activity for the day was to go to Trocknersteg. Trocknersteg is the starting point for a lot of the hikes in and around the Matterhorn, including the Matterhorn Glacier Trail and the Matterhorn Trail. There are about 9 trails and most of them are rated as easy, but we really were not in the mood to hike that day. We're going to Trocknersteg, but apparently you can also take a ski lift to Italy, since we are right at the border. Once again, we were mind blown by the gondolas and ski lifts in Switzerland. For 30 minutes, we were surrounded by grass fields, steep cliffs, and waterfalls all around us. Okay, I cannot see anything on the screen, but we are at Trocknersteg, and right there is the Matterhorn. It was a bit cloudy at first, but it's starting to clear, and it's a really nice viewpoint here. That right there is where we came from. I don't know if you can see on the camera. Trocknersteg is probably the best way to see the Matterhorn if you aren't going to be hiking. And there's a really nice viewing platform at the station, as well as a restaurant. Yeah, the clouds are clearing up a little bit. We can't get enough of photos because I feel like every second it looks better. But yeah, we're gonna head back down and I think we'll explore a little bit more of Zermatt. We didn't know, but this is actually a free bus that takes you from cable car station to the bus station. I think this also goes back to our hotel too, but
yeah, we should.
It stops at 6 p.m. I believe. Yep, we're just gonna head back to the station, go down to Task, pick up the car, and go for a drive. We've gotten off at Task, where my brother-in-law is staying, and we're gonna take the car, and we plan on showing him around to Lauterbrunnen and Grindelwald, so we're gonna go for a drive there. For the rest of the day, we drove from Tash to Lauterbrunnen with my brother-in-law, so he could take in the views as well. And that pretty much marked the end of our day. The next day was officially our last day in Switzerland. We headed back to Geneva for our flight, making a stop at the Chillon Castle in Montreux before visiting the beautiful French town called Annecy. It is our last day in Zermatt. We just grabbed breakfast from Coop, and today we're gonna hit the road and head back to Geneva. And in the way we might stop along a French town called Annecy, so come with us. On our way to Geneva, we made a quick stop at the historic castle of Chillon. This is one of the most visited medieval castles of Europe, and is located on a small island right off of the highway in Montreux. This right here is Castle Chillon. It is a castle that was built in the 9th century, and it is on the way to Zermatt from Montreux, just outside Montreux. It's a pretty cool structure from the 9th century. And if you can see, there's these slits. Those slits are actually for archers, for when they had archers for defense. And you can see there's like a moat type of structure around the castle, so it's completely protected from the land. You can get a nice bow and arrow shooted from outside the castle. So this castle is actually situated low, right by the water. Much of Montreux is actually above us. So it's in a very strategic location, and that's what it was saying on the signs there, that the location has been very fortified and it's been very hard to invade, and that's why this is such a cool little gem to check out on the way to Montreux. And they have a little walkway here just around the vicinity of the castle, so you can get a better view if you walk further away from the castle. Everyone's trying to get in, and it's about 13 francs to get in, but we're just going to enjoy the view, stay here for a bit, and drive back. Oh, there's a fort up there as well, and we're not gonna go, but I saw photos, and they have some of the guns and the artillery that was stored and used to protect the castle. Coop restaurant, which we're very excited to check out. As you know, Coop has been the affordable option for us here, so it's nice to see that they have a restaurant as well in this pit stop area, so let's check it out. Restaurant was too fancy for us, so we're back at the place where we belong, Coop. Regular Coop. We got lunch for the road and kept driving towards our next destination of Annecy. We entered France, and shortly after we spotted a unique suspension bridge that we had to check out, called Pont de la Caille. I apologize in advance if I butchered that name. Alright, we saw a cool bridge, so we decided to stop in France. We had no idea this bridge was here or that bridge. We were just driving by, and then we decided to make a random stop. And it turned out to be a pretty cool surprise. We then headed straight to Annecy. Annecy is a small town located just 35 kilometers away from Geneva. The beautiful town has been coined the nickname the Pearl of the French Alps, and I could see why. Located on the shore of Lake Annecy, this town is built around canals and features classical medieval architecture backdropped by the beautiful French Alps. There are also tons of markets, cafes, and eateries that you can check out by foot. We were mindlessly wandering around what felt like a medieval hub for trade. This is Annecy, France. And this here is a river that is feeding Lake Annecy over there. It's got a old town over there that we will walk through. And apparently it's called the Venice of the Alps. So let's go check it out. Okay, we are just mindlessly roaming around the town because there's so much to see. There's all types of stores here. Like that's a butcher shop right there. You know, they've got like cold cut meats, sausages, etc. And then there's an art shop. Oh, and then our favorite Swiss cow. Yep. And this place seems like it's, you know, like belt shop. There's just a whole lot to see here. Okay, we are on a postcard and magnet hunt. So it looks like Afra has found something. Okay, that is nice, but it's a bit big.
Come on.
Okay, I'm a big fan of this one. I'm gonna try to ask if there's a postcard version of this. There's a cafe right there called the Grand Cafe. So then we might grab coffee before we continue our search for postcards and magnets.
Until we find the right one.
We have to find the right one.
It has to be the one. It has to go with the other magnet.
Also, I smell fondue everywhere.
It's PTSD. It's giving me PTSD.
It's calling
my name. It smells so bad.
This is some good latte. This is like the central cathedral here. And all around the cathedral are alleyways that you can take. So that one is Place de la Notre Dame. Rue de Lac is that one. This walkway looks like it's straight out of a movie or a storybook. This village, Annecy, it's called the jewel of the Alps. And right there behind us you can see that the Alps start. And then if you go further that way in that direction, then you go into Switzerland. And this lake here is right in between the city and the town and the Alps. Okay, I don't know who the artist here is, but I was imagining that bridge on a snowy day. I feel like that's exactly what it would look like. Some beautiful art here, spray paint art. We had a bit of an issue with the bike. You have to scan the bike on your phone on the app, and then once it's scanned on the app, you can actually unlock the bike. So I had a bit of an issue with with that bike, where it wasn't unlocking. We figured it out on the app. The first half hour is free, so we did lose about 6 minutes. But you know, once we figured out the bike situation and the lock situation, we were able to go ahead and start biking. So we are on this trail which goes around the lake here, which is Lake Annecy. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but right now we are headed in the direction of the Alps there. This is a good opportunity to test out the stabilization of the ZV-1F. So I just want to take a few minutes to talk about this camera actually. So I got the ZV-1F right before the trip because I thought, okay, we're going to be traveling. It'll be nice to have a compact camera that we can record on. And this camera has been amazing so far. You know, I keep it in my pocket. Anytime there's a moment that I want to record, I just pull it out and press record. You know, the autofocus and all the other details that need to be adjusted, the camera takes care of itself. And the footage looks really good. So I'm excited to get back home, start editing the vlog, and see how it looks. Couldn't find a magnet that we both liked, so our search ended a little bit short, and now it's too late to actually get anything because all the stores are closed. There's just restaurants and like eateries that are open, so gift shops and souvenir shops have closed. And hopefully on the way we find a store that's still open, but I guess that's one of the downsides of being picky. Sometimes you have to give up.
I was not being picky.
I was being picky.
I found the one. I thought I found the one. You guys let me get it. So.
Yeah. Oh well, hopefully on the way we find one.
There were countless of options for food in Annecy. We were lucky enough to find a halal burger joint called Dunk Burgers, and they didn't disappoint. They also had a version of poutine that we hadn't seen before. It was highly recommended because it had local cheese from the dairy farms around Annecy. After dinner, we walked around a bit more before stopping for gelato at a place called Chez Poustache. This was one of the busiest gelato places in town, and they had about 60 different flavors of gelato.
Had burgers from a place called the Dunk Burgers, and we just had some gelato, which was really good. And now we're just gonna walk around the town again, and it looks pretty cool with the lamps on, and has a very medieval vibe to it.
We finished our day in Annecy and headed to Geneva for the night. The next morning we were flying out of Switzerland, marking the end of the Swiss leg of our trip. But this wasn't the end of our travels for the summer of 2023. The next day marked the beginning of our week-long trip to the UK, and you can catch that trip in our upcoming vlogs.